Hello, all of you risk takers and truth seekers to podcast live, the battlefield. We all love to win in life, but we never talk about how to survive the hardship. Actually, we never have the real people who tells us on their example how they survive their hardships. Today I have a true privilege to interview Kristine. She's a survivor on so many levels, but what she does, she makes this world better place by producing universal world language, music. Kristine, thank you for coming to the studio live to Battlefield.
Thank you, Mario, for having me. It's a real honour to be on your podcast.
Look, I was aiming, we were back and forward, but today it's all about you, Kristine. Okay, the world becomes a very different place, and you and I have a lot of life experience. However, difference between you and I is that you're a survivor. And today I want you to share with our audience who is Kristine, why the music, its universal language, and how you try to help this world to heal, to be better, and what people can learn from you.
Yeah.
Stage is yours.
And where to start?
What are you doing today? What is it today? What music you playing today?
What music am I playing?
Today.
Today?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't listen to any music as I drove here.
Okay.
And I haven't played any music because it's only early yet.
Okay.
Musicians have a different lifestyle to most people. And I used to have a lifestyle where I got up at 6:15 every morning and went for a walk or a run or a cycle or something. But since I took up music, I tend to sleep until 8 o'clock because, we play until
Musicians.
11 or 12 o'clock at night and then, and then you've got to come home and unwind. So by the time you get to bed, it's like early hours of the morning. So my lifestyle's changed somewhat. I still prefer to get up early. So anyway, I haven't played music yet. I started playing music when I was, actually probably even before that. My parents loved music and they used to play music in the house. Mum played the organ. She used to play piano when she was younger, but she liked the organ and she was actually very good at that. And my dad, he played harmonica and he sang. He was actually the singer in the family. My mum didn't sing. I don't think I ever heard my mother sing, But my father, he was a boy soprano. When he was a boy, when he was in the church, and he had a good voice back then, but he didn't do anything with that. He was raised in, the Depression, and so he had to go and work at the age of 13 or 14 to support the family.
Such a life, huh?
And he had a good work ethic and my mum had a good work ethic too. Both of them worked. Mum not in the beginning, but later on she went back to secretarial sort of work. So both my parents had a good work ethic. And I guess, they taught me and my brother some really good life lessons that, my parents made my life quite good. I had a good childhood. They were loving, caring, and it was different to the way my father was brought up because he worked all his life in the same foundry making tools.
Okay.
And he ended up being a partner in that business later on, in his career, but he still worked at the furnace making tools, and he also had a couple of part-time jobs as a barman or waiter to provide for the family.
Yes.
So that's the upbringing I had. It was a good family, and I guess I wanted to bring that out because that shaped me and gave me good ethics. Today, and that's and I have a good work ethic. And so music was part of the family, and when I was 15, 16, for a couple of years I learned classical and flamenco guitar, and I loved it. And I used to play 3 or 4 hours a day, practiced regularly because I loved it. And my tutor wanted me to be a concert guitarist, and I didn't really want to be a concert guitarist.
Why is that?
I mean, at 15, 16, I didn't.
You don't have that
quite,
points. You're just.
I didn't quite know what I wanted in life. But around that time, I was raped, and I do believe that had an impact on the quality of my life, because it's a monumental thing to have happen to someone. And it took me quite some time to come to terms with that and deal with that. You know, Mum actually said to me, "Do you want to go to a psychologist?" And I said, "No, I don't really need a psychologist." And I was always a very strong-minded person, and I was always positive, and I found a way to deal with this and just get on with my life and living as positively as I possibly could. And I didn't do any more music for a long time. I kept that guitar.
Yes.
It was a folk classical kind of guitar. I still have that guitar today, and I'm 70 now. So I've had that for a long time. And it's really funny because when I was in my 60s, and I'd raised my son, and I started playing that guitar, and I wrote a couple of spiritual kind of songs.
Yes.
Just ones about how I felt, you know. And so it was for me, really. And then I'd bought an acoustic steel string guitar because I always wanted one of those. And so this was kind of the birthing of my music journey.
So between that unfortunate event of the being raped and your 60s, there was no music in your life, right? Or?
Oh no, I used to go out dancing. I went out with people, my brother and various other people, to concerts. I remember a really amazing concert. There was Tommy Emmanuel, and he opened for Eric Clapton.
Okay.
And it was like a double concert. It was amazing. And I always loved music. I danced regularly throughout the week, every week. And I used to go and listen to jazz at the Rocks in Sydney.
Okay.
So music was something, and I played music. I used to go to an import music store at Town Hall, and I would buy first pressings and other imported records. And I would play them at home all the time, every day. I loved music. And I didn't just like the radio, normal, you know, everyday streamlined stuff, but I liked different kinds of music. And I guess that shaped me because I had a wide variety of tastes, everything from classical right through to metal.
Metal, yeah.
You know, I liked a lot of different things. I couldn't just listen to one or I'd get bored with it. So I had eclectic tastes, and I still have. So let me think. Well, what happened was, I mean, I worked for other people, and then I set out on my own business journey. So I had my own wellness business back then for 20 years in Sydney. Life happened. I closed the doors on that because I was the business, couldn't really sell it. So I raised my son on the Central Coast. I moved from Sydney to the Central Coast and raised him and worked for other people again. Yeah. And when he was old enough, I thought, it's my turn now. I'm going to do what I always wanted to do.
You just said to him, now it's mummy time.
Well,
okay,
he said to me one day, hey, Mum, what's for dinner? I said, I don't know. Whatever you're cooking, I'm going out. See you later.
Oh, my God. It must be hit for him, yeah.
I had taught him a few survival techniques, cooking-wise. So, I used to go out and play music. I joined a ukulele club, and I did that for 2 years. And I'd written some songs, and I had good feedback from that. And I thought I might try my hand at being a songwriter and make that a career thing that I was going to pursue, because I always wanted to do music.
That's after the moment you told your son, I'm going out.
Yeah, after that, yes. I got into this ukulele club, and I learned a lot of things there. It was really good grounding. I also had the opportunity in that club to learn percussion from the husband of the lady who was teaching ukulele. So her husband taught a small group of people from that club how to play percussion. And I joined that, and I was just like, wow, I love this. I loved because I always liked rhythms and listening to different types of music. So it ticked all the boxes. We used to perform together at different places as a group, and that was fun. And I could ham it up in the group, and then we'd have monthly open mics. Well, that's a totally different story because then you're on stage.
So tell me something. Can I ask you one question? It's like a little bit intimate question. Like, let's just say we're talking about you in the 60s, right? How competitive people are in their 60s?
Competitive.
Yeah, like yourself, who's sing better?
I was always a bit competitive because that was my nature.
So it doesn't tone down with the age. I mean, like it's actually, I think, fueling more.
I was always determined. If I did something, I would do it to the best of my ability. And if there was someone good, I'd try to match that. Like I just always wanted to do my best.
Yes.
In a positive way. It wasn't a bad thing. It's just how I was. That was my nature. I was determined.
Yes.
I was competitive. And when I was at school, I had my school reports. I used to say, Kristine has the qualities of a leader.
Nice.
And I also used to say things like, you have a flair for writing. I wonder what you will do for that. And there were a couple of those occasions where those comments were made. So I always knew I wanted to be a leader anyway because I wanted to be the leader, but I also knew that I wasn't a particularly good leader because I just I hadn't learnt the skills. And so life has taught me a lot of things, but in the meantime I've also done a lot of courses. I did. So
you need to stop educating yourself. You need to say I'm too old, I don't want to do this. You continuously develop it yourself.
So up until probably, when was it, about 2008 or 9 or something, I'd done a university course, and that was when I was in my 30s. And that was a sports science course. First of all, I did an associate diploma, then I did the degree. And after that, I did a diploma in Occupational Health and Safety and a few other things as well, administrative-wise, so they weren't as important. And then when I got into music, it's funny because I started putting myself, I learned all about social media because I wasn't on social media before this, but I wanted to be on social media so I could keep in touch with what was happening music-wise.
Yes.
And that... when I got onto LinkedIn, led me to come in contact with a coach. He coached me. So I went through all my goals and my dreams and values, limiting beliefs, a whole range of things. And I realised, because I'd embarked on my music journey at 61, I think I was, when I was in the ukulele club. And at 63, I embarked on my career journey. I left the club and I made a CD and I went out and I'm thinking I'm going to be a songwriter. Yeah, right. Anyway, it's a very big learning curve, and so I in the process of that, because I thought, who's going to record my songs or sing them? I thought I'll have to do it myself, which means I have to get on stage. I remember I told you that when I was in the ukulele club, being on stage on my own is very different to being in a group, and it was. How
did you beat the fear? How did you? Obviously, that's a fear involved.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So how did you beat the fear? How did you manage that fear? Being on a stage on your own.
I thought the only way I can do it is to face it, and that's to get on stage and do it. And so I was so nervous. My hands would shake, my voice would shake. I was shocking. And so anyway, I just went 5 and 6 times a week to open mics, and gradually I started to get better and better. And I knew that because in the beginning it was like I'm on stage and it's just me and I'm like petrified. And over time I'm thinking, oh, there's somebody in the front row I know. And then later on somebody came in the back door, right up the back of the room, and I'm going, oh, I can see that person. And it's like your awareness grows because your confidence is growing. And so I knew that I was improving. But, there's still room for improvement anyway. But
So
it's getting easier.
If you can give one tip to our listeners, viewers right now about how to deal with the fear, what would that be? What would be your goal? Yeah, how would you deal with the fear?
Okay, I guess you've got to rationalise it. And so you've got to look at it and say, what is it I'm afraid of? Why am I afraid of that? How can I overcome that? So, and that's what I did with any stumbling block. Any roadblock that was in my way, I'm thinking I either blast it out of the way or I go around it or over it or under it, whatever, I'm getting around this problem. And so that's the kind of attitude you've got to have. Otherwise, you'd never, overcome it. So that was my approach. I have to find a way to deal with this. And it's natural. It's a normal human thing to be afraid or to have fear because it's an inbuilt protection. Because if you had no fear, you could just go and get yourself into all sorts of trouble.
Yes, that's correct.
Right? So it's God's put it there for a reason, and you have to listen to it. If you ignore it, you're going to find yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
So you have to listen to it and say, how do I appease this thing? All right? So he's like the doubter.
Yes.
And the one that gives you fear, but he's a doubter. He's saying, no, I don't think you should do that. I don't think you can do that. And you've got to go, well, what do you mean? You can have a little inward conversation with yourself and to understand what it is that's stopping you. Once you realise that, then you can find a way to deal with it. So it's treating the doubter as your protector.
Yes.
Really, because say you want to achieve. Well, you say you want to go into business or something, and you're afraid, and it's going, I don't think you can do this. Well, you've got to say, well, hang on a second, what do I need? Oh, I need to go and do a course. I need to plan how I'm going to set this up. What do I need to begin? And then you form a plan, and the doubter goes, oh, I think you can do it now, right? Yeah. So then it's not a problem anymore.
You should write a book, eh? No, seriously, because, I'm just listening to you. I last week turned 50, it's my 52nd birthday last week was, and now my 53rd year of my life. And I must say that I felt uncomfortable. Yeah, I was uncomfortable. I was a little bit petrified about, I know you're smiling.
Yeah.
And my son, he's 21, he said, dude, you're so old. I said, I know, man. But I think that we are, for the reason on this planet, like you are, I am, and but you have an abundant life experience. And, just listening to you, how you deal with the fear, it's so smooth. You don't complicate it. You say, I'll go on a stage and practice a little bit. I see the person in the background, another one, you become aware, things there are. People think being successful, it's easy. Oh. It's not the blueprint.
I've written a song about that, actually.
You see, so what is success for you? What is success for you now from this point of view in your life? When you see people behind, the younger, the older, whatever it is, everybody try to chase something, become successful. What is success for you?
Yeah, my journey has never, ever been about money. Never, ever been about fame. Those things are not particularly attractive because they can have a negative effect on your life. That's not what I'm about. I always wanted to do music, and the opportunity came when I was in my 60s. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what time of life that happens. Yes. It's the right time.
It's the right time.
You know what I mean? And so I don't have no regrets about my life. I've done a lot of things, learned a lot of things. And those things, everything that I've learned in every job I've had has given me skills to do what I'm doing now.
Yes.
And to run my business and all that sort of thing. So...
That's interesting, yeah?
I lost my
No, it's also we say your path was never about money. Success is not related to money.
Yeah, so when it came to the point where I decided I'm writing these songs. Wouldn't it be good if I could just write one song and later on in life I'll have a passive income and what if somebody liked my song and made it famous or popular and I earned good royalties from that? And that was kind of my rationale. It wasn't about necessarily me being in the limelight. It was about my songs being liked by somebody and sung and out there and for people to listen to.
Tell us, where was the first time? Sorry, I just want to skip now the cue from that success-related question. You said you want to write songs and you want to songs be liked. When was the first song you released and what was the feeling? How did the audience react? Come on, see the smile. See, now it's...
Yeah, it's a
Do you want to skip that question?
It's a sense of achievement, you know, please. That I wrote a song and I've now put that on a music platform, well, a couple of music platforms. Okay. Well, they don't put all songs on there, but they put my song on Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon, a few other platforms, right? Yes. And I'm going, wow. I've achieved that part because every part of my journey, and there were parts of my journey that were absolutely scary. It's like standing on a precipice and there's this big, dark hole that you've got to get across because I was going to territory I'd never been into. And my success is that I found a way to get over that precipice, to deal with that fear, because it's a fear. You know, I didn't know what to expect on my music journey, and there were a lot of challenges along the way. What do I do now, and how do I deal with this? And I was scared about, what am I getting myself into? And I just thought, no, I've got to see this through.
Yes.
And so my determination to succeed, it was personal. It's not about, like I said, fame and money. It was about, I want to be as good as I can be. How good can I be?
Yes.
That's really what it was. What is my limit? Do I have? And when I'd been coached by, the coach that I mentioned earlier, I realised that I can use my wellness business stuff and knowledge and skills and expertise and the music together in the one business. And people go, how do they fit together? Well, they do, because my songs are inspirational and they reinforce a lot of the message about that I have in my seminars and presentations and talks that reinforce the messages in there. Like a lot of wellness is to do, and I'm talking about mental health and physical health, is to do with the mind.
Yes.
You know, and if you have no real goal for your wellness, then how do you expect to be well?
Yes.
You know, there's got to be some kind of goal for you to put things into place to be well in the future, because now's the time to affect the trajectory of your health. Otherwise, you're not going to get to the place you want to be in the future.
I think that most of people that see the music, most of people see the music just by hearing, and liking the tone and the frequency, maybe words. People most of people, they don't know that music has a healing capabilities. It's powerful.
Music's very powerful.
And it's first of all, it's universal language. I mean, like they always say, when the first time they send the satellite, whatever it is, in a deep space, they send the notes. I mean, I think it's I forgot what is the song, but I know it's some classical piece they sent in space. And usually it's a music, that one which connects us across the continents and the planet and everything else. Secondly, the music has a healing capabilities, and
it does.
It's being proven through the histories. But yet we are just seeing the music. Sorry, I say we feel the music only when we listen to something, and we like the notes and the words and the frequency of the sound. Not many people understand the music actually influencing our life as a frequency of vibrations on our body as well.
All music has a place in this life.
Yes.
Right? And some music is evergreen, and it will always be in existence, and it will always have a place. it doesn't matter how old a piece of music is. You think about classical music, it's still relevant today and is still used in movies or, on the radio. People still listen to it and appreciate it. And when I write songs, I put messages in my songs. And those messages, because when people are going through things in life and they're listening to some music, they're listening to the lyrics, and their radar is out looking for solutions to their problem. And so when they hear it in a song, they can take that message and go, I can use that for something positive to get through this. And that's what I have in my songs, is I wanted to write songs that help people. Because I listen to songs on the radio and some of them have very trite lyrics.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't particularly want to write songs. There's enough trite songs, and people might have a good beat and people dance to it or something. It might have a different purpose. But I wanted to write songs that had some kind of value and helped people.
Can I share something with you? Like I was, not today, but recently, I would say like maybe a few years ago, I started listening to something called affirmations, right? I never listened to affirmations in my life, and I made a fun of affirmations, be honest with you. But then I run into the couple of the people who talk about affirmations, but they're as well the musicians like yourself. So they created the songs, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just surprised how those songs actually sat with me, because like I'm the happy, I'm the wealthy, all these things. It's like, that sounds so stupid, but I start singing this. Mm. And I must say that I felt comfortable, going for the meeting, even singing like, today it's going to be a happy day or something, I'm just singing.
It will influence you.
Yeah, but I said, that's my interpretation. Songs go different way, but I'm congratulating you that takes the courage. It's easy to sing about blah, blah, blah. My heart is broken, she left me or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Yeah. But when you need to put people into a good mood, it's easy to destroy. I know this because I was in military for 14 years, 5 years in a war, and it was easier to destroy than to build. And the music was not so happy music. It was always these drums, it's always that heavy.
Yeah, a little bit oppressive.
Yeah, like its frequency was a bit low, but yep. Always give that edge, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then comes the point in life where we need to build and be happy and live the life.
Well, let me just say that, because I've done studies.
Yes, you may say, please.
I've done studies in NLP. I've done practitioner and master practitioner level. Yeah. I've done a life coach course, and I'm doing another one. I'm also doing my MBA. So I've learned a lot of stuff about leadership and how the mind works. And if you think of your mind as two parts that are aligned, you have an unconscious mind and you have a conscious mind. Now, most people live in the conscious mind all the time, and they don't actually tap in to the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is about 90% of your brain, and it does everything for you, runs your body, and you pay no conscious attention to it particularly. You don't think about your heart rate and all the processes that go on, yeah. Digestion and breathing. That all happens automatically, and that's your unconscious mind controls that. Your unconscious mind also stores all of your memories and all of your emotions and all your past experiences. Yes. Now, that can affect you consciously, how you behave, how you think, and how you react to things. And so if you don't understand things that have affected you negatively, it can have a negative effect on your outward behaviour and your thought processes. Yeah. And what happens is you set up patterns of thinking and you get stuck in that and you can't move out of it. And that's why, whatever you expose yourself to, the books that you read, the people you hang out with, the music you listen to, your unconscious mind is listening.
Yes.
And so those things affect you without you actually realising it. So mix that with your past experiences, and that's who you are. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm telling you seriously. You should write a manual about life experience. You know how we can live better life. I'm not joking, Kristine.
I've got a couple of books that I have started. I've started
Working.
writing. I've been
Because
so
you see,
busy.
like, you know, that's a difference. You know, I mean, difference is, I'm the guy who loves to hands-on, right? I don't like people telling me the theory and everything else, because my upbringing and my life in military was like how it's going to be done, you know what I mean? So show me the methods, modus operandi, I will improvise, adjust, whatever it is. But when the people just talk theory, I'll take a step back. But you have the life experience, how to do these things. And you know how the things functioning in life, you know, particularly music. And nobody talks about music. You see, we all have to sit back, you know, sometimes when I'm at home and, I don't know, just watching something on TV, I switch on YouTube. It's called the black channel, you know, black screen. But you can just hear the music or with some rain.
Oh, yeah,
or something.
nice.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and my son says to say, why are you depressed? It's like, no, just want to relax, you know what I mean? So
I quite like listening to cafe jazz that way.
See?
Yeah, I do, because it's relaxing, it's chill out. Yeah, just very enjoyable background kind of music.
yeah, like when I'm on a plane, like particularly when I fly overseas, you know, I'll just come back from overseas. You know, they have the good channels with that music, you know, like it's just zone you out. You know, I mean, literally, you don't care because it's no, how to say, there's no rush. You know, I mean, it's a nice flowing, you know, jazz music. You know, what I mean, soft lo-fi. You know, what I mean, I'm admiring you. So tell us more. I'm very curious now. How do you write a song? Anybody writes a song, like, you know, I mean, how these words come to you, like how you connect them. Let's go say I was watching the Celine Dion documentary, and then about, what's it called, the Aussie one, Delta Goodroom. And I say, how do you girls come with that, you know? Once upon a time, there was Mario, beautiful guy, you know what I mean, whatever. It's like, how?
They come in all different ways. One day I woke up at 5 a.m. It was the middle of winter, so it was June and very cold. And I woke up with this song in my head, the title, the words, the tune playing in my head. And I had to jump out of bed and grab a notepad and a pen, and I got under the covers with a torch.
Because it's cold.
So that was one experience. Yeah. Another time it was after I'd closed my business and I was working on the Central Coast, and I was working for this boss and driving around Sydney, and I stopped at a set of lights, and the lights, you know, because they were red, and I saw this truck, you know, turn the corner, and it had on the side Border Express, and I went, I haven't seen one of those before. I guess it's a delivery vehicle. That's what it seems like to me.
Okay, yeah.
And suddenly I got this idea, that'd make a good title for a song. So I reached into my bag while the lights are red. This is all split-second stuff. And I started writing, things started coming to me. So the lights have changed, damn. So, you know, I'm driving to the next set of lights and getting it and writing down some more because I didn't want to forget. Yeah. Because if you don't write it down, it's gone and you can't remember it. So I had to write this down. So anyway, I got home that night, and over the next, I suppose, day or two, this song developed, a Border Express, and it was about a delivery vehicle, not parcels, but a person. He was on the Greyhound, and he was going, or she was going home to their loved one.
Okay, interesting, yes, okay.
So that's how that song came to be. Other times, I don't know, I think about something. I might see it in a movie, or some friend might be telling me a story, and I'm thinking I could write a song about that. And so then that song, I'll just write some words down, and sometimes they just come together then and there, pretty much, and I might just have to tweak that. But other times I've written something in 2016, and it wasn't until 4 or 5 years later, 6 years later, that because I didn't know how to package it. I didn't know how I was going, what the music was going to be like, or the tune. I had written these words. Anyway, all this time later, I'm going, I know how, because I might be listening to something, and I'm going through those songs that I'd written, and all of a sudden it'll jump out, and I'm going, I know how to present that now. And so then, so they come in all different ways. I don't know. It's just, I just got to go with the flow.
See, I think that we all born with a unique set of skills. because not everybody can write a song, right? We all love to write these things, you know what I mean? Even book or whatever it is. And I was always curious as a kid. I said to my father, I remember my father will listen, he'll wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean? He'll go in the bathtub and in a bathroom, then they cover him in the bathtub with the blankets, and he'll listen to Voice of America, right? Because it was forbidden. And, I said to him, what are you doing? He said, mother, get out, you know what I mean? Like, because he doesn't want the kids to know, because, you open your mouth, someone can be arrested. Which he did eventually, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and but then my father will come back, 5:30 before he goes in the factory, 6 o'clock, and turn the radio on. I said to him, it's like, where's these people in the radio? Yeah. And he says to me, what do you mean? I said, where's the people who playing the instruments? And he bashed me. I said to him, okay, I just want to know where the people coming from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are they awake 5 o'clock in the morning to play for us? And he was thinking I'm joking with him. I didn't know. You see, our curiosity, it's very powerful and strong.
Yeah.
But people like yourself, the artists who transfer the emotions into the words and then into music, it's a special form of the art. And that's to say, your gift, it's tremendous for this planet.
Well, as I said back when I was a little kid, like I'm talking about 9 years old, 10 years old, and I had comments about, you have a flair for music, I wonder what you'll do with that. And so I guess I was reasonably good at communication then. And I've done communication at university, as part of the courses in university and everything. And I always wanted to, if I say something, I want the person to understand exactly what I mean.
Yes.
So it's not about just telling your message, it's making sure they've got your message the right way, because everybody has different perceptions of things and people can misinterpret things because you've got a way of expressing the type of language you're using, and they interpret it differently because of their upbringing.
So before we wind up, sorry, because I'm aware of your time, and we are now 45 minutes. I'm just listening to you. I've never been. When I run the interviews, I interrupt people a lot. But see your story, it's unique, and I really like it. Now I want to ask you a question. You say that now you're writing the songs, you playing your ukulele club, but as well you combine your wellness business before with the music. How do you help with your business to people? How do you combine the music and wellness to assist the people?
Well, in my, I've got 1 day and 4 day wellness seminars, and in amongst that, there's the mindset part, so that they can achieve their wellness goals. They've got to have the right mindset to achieve wellness goals, and I want everybody who does my course to be successful.
So you want to be successful?
I want them to be successful, so I empower them with knowledge and expertise. But before I give them that about wellness, I help them with their mindset, because that is the biggest hurdle. Once they get that bit right, the rest will fall into place.
I saw on your website, it says achievements. It stands there, achievements. It's an acronym on your website, you know what I mean? What is your business about? Achievement, people, successes.
It's about helping people be proactive about their mental and physical health.
Okay.
Because everybody should be well, but they're not. And I don't think the system, the health system,
Feel free to express yourself.
Okay, so I don't think the health system, look, they're very good at putting someone back together when they've broken a leg, but when it comes to preventative stuff, and I'm talking about mentally and physically, the way this doctors and everybody have been educated is, oh, you have these symptoms, we'll put you in this box. We treat it this way, but they haven't actually dealt with the cause, right? They haven't eliminated what's caused the problem. They treat the symptom. And I don't like that approach. I would love to expand on the preventative and proactive side, and that's a big goal I have with my wellness and my music, and I need the platform. So I'm working my way to have the platform to be able to do that.
What type of platform you're looking for?
A platform where I have the credibility and I have the following. So I'm working on developing that.
Well, I'm hoping that I'm truly believe that this podcast is gonna help you, because now we are almost 200,000 followers, subscribers, and we have the 3 million views. So, like, guys, I'm inviting you. Gonna put in the comment section below the details of Kristine. So give her all your love, give her support. Feel free to support her in shape, size, or form you believe it's the best. But as well, I want you to learn from Kristine. But Kristine, before we wind up, would you agree with me that health is the most valuable currency in our life?
Let's put it this way. If you don't have health and well-being, how can you achieve things in life? How can you be happy? And how can you have the life that you want? Because if you're laying in a bed and you're not feeling very well, what have you got? So wellness is everything. I had a friend...
yes, please share.
I had a friend. She was a really good friend. I knew her for 10 years. She just, on Wednesday, a couple of days ago, committed suicide. But she had mental health issues and had been taking medication. She voluntarily put herself into, a mental health unit in the hospital because she knew she wasn't well. And they changed her drug. Well, personally, I think she's had problems for a long, long time, and they weren't being dealt with. They just gave her drugs. Well, she had a cocktail of drugs and she took them and ended her life because she was really spiralling out of control and things were happening and she was emotionally unable to deal with all of that. So she took her life.
What your message would be to people? Because I know, I didn't want to bring this at the beginning because I felt you, I saw you very emotional. And I said, like, you are a very, very nice person. There's the people over there. I know I say, like, I don't classify people good or bad, this and that, but I see, like, bullshit artists in my life, and I see the people who are genuine people like yourself. When people struggling, what would you, Kristine, advise to people to do? Like, when you see them mentally struggling.
Yeah.
Before you continue, I want to share something with you. I have a good friend of mine. Her name is Professor Dr. Liz. Amazing lady. She's one of my closest friends, and she says to me, she sees a lot of successful people with a lot of money, achieve a lot. Now they're investing all that wealth into health, and she says it's too late.
Well, you only need to look at Robin Williams, what happened to him, and various other artists who've taken drugs because they're not coping with the lifestyle they're living. And I'm talking about successful people, Whitney Houston's another one. And there's a whole bunch of those sort of people who died way too young. But there are people who are not successful who are suffering in the same way. And they're trying different things to try and cope with life. Drugs and alcohol, they don't work. They've got to not do that. And because this friend of mine who took her life, I was really concerned about her son.
Oh, okay.
And I got in touch with him because I know what he'd be going through. And people automatically go, could I have done more? I wish I'd have told her I loved her. I wish I'd have hugged her. I wish I'd done, you know what I mean, all those things that maybe they didn't do. And I know that they had their issues because of her mental unwellness. So I invited him to come and have lunch with me because I thought he's got to get out of the home, he's got to have out in the sunshine, beautiful view, and we'll have lunch together. But he didn't want to come because he's trying to process it all and he's just closed off and internalising it all. And I thought I need to bring him back to reality because people can get too wound up with that and get, like they can't get out of that. So I went and visited him and I took him some salad and a couple of oranges and I made him make me a cup of tea and, I mean, he offered, but, he would, like he was so self-focused and thinking, so involved in why his mother took her life. So, but I said, share something with me. And it took him a little while. And he told me a few things, and I said, yeah, you know, I know your mother loved you. She told me, you know, and we were very close for so long. I learned a lot about how she felt about you, because I think he would have been worried about that. So people can be worried about stuff that's not really true. They're building it into their own mind, and they really need to connect with people for a different perspective to get them out of, you know, worrying about the event that happened. And so when they're mentally, they're just so wound up with the problem that they can't see the forest for the trees, and it makes them unhappy. And they're not coming up with things that are truthful. It's things they're making up in their mind and blaming themselves, because that's a natural thing for people to do. And kids do that when their parents split up. They blame themselves. That's what people do. And they're going, oh, I should have done this and I could have done that. But hang on a second. Well, you didn't, and this is what we have to deal with. Now let's look at, you know, what we can put into place to move you forward.
Your statement reminds me of Bob Marley's statement. He's day before he's been attempted assassination on him, and they said to him, they asked him, why go on a stage? They're going to kill you. And he says, people who try to kill me doesn't take a day off to destroy this world. He said, like, why should I take the day off to make this world a better place? So between those lines. And you remind me of this. So, Kristine, for the end, how the people can find you, what they can expect, what services you're offering, and why they should come to you?
Well, I have like I said, I'm 70 years old. I've lived life. I've seen a lot of things. I've done a lot of study in the meantime. Not that study's the only thing, but I can apply it. I really want people to be well, and I will empower people with the tools and the strategies to be able to do that. So my courses cover things like how to manage stress, what stress does to you, and how you know, some coping strategies. And so my courses cover a lot of things, but they can also come to me as a one-on-one coach. I can also do consulting to businesses, because I've done that in the past as well. And that is an area I want to get into, because a lot of people develop problems, like musculoskeletal problems in their work situation. But they can also be stressed by their work. They can also be non-performers, and the business might want to get rid of them. But all that person needs is a little coaching, and then they can maybe excel. And so, there are lots of ways that people can improve just by seeking some advice. It doesn't have to be me. It's whoever they resonate with. You know what I mean? I'm not going to appeal to everybody. But
no, look, after all, we're not a jar on teller to make everybody happy. That is correct. That's correct. But you're the living example. That's what I say to people. Like, you know, when people say coaching, everything else, I have the goosebumps. But I would every time choose you, because 71 years old lady who drives here from Central Coast to be on this podcast, you know, speaks the volume about you. I know the people who are, okay, I'll take this much more closer to my heart. My son, he's 21 years old. He studied medicine, everything else. But life, everything is so, oh God, it's like everything's so difficult, right? And I said to myself, Matteo, when I was your age, and he would look at me, he's like, dude, that was 50 years ago. I said, like, doesn't matter. So I try to say, I'm admiring you, Kristine. Admiring you for coming today.
Thank you, Mario.
Sharing your... I truly believe there's a lot of people there who doesn't need the support of... I'm going to compare this with you. You know Puff Diddy, all this, you know, that black guy being arrested, musician?
Not really.
Okay, so he's the biggest name in a music, rap music, all this music.
What's his name?
Puff Diddy, P Diddy has so many.
Oh, him. Yeah.
So he's been arrested, right?
Yeah, okay.
And his entire names behind him gonna be in prison. Jay-Z, Justin Bieber, a crew. This is the people who entire world were listening.
Yeah, I know.
And I say, are you happy now? You happy now? He took your money, he's in prison. This is the hero. Who doesn't, I'll give you definition in my own way. You feel the pain and sadness, but you acknowledging but don't sharing your own one. That's today you to me an audience with lots of your friends. Kristine, thank you very much for being my guest today in
Thank you, Mario.
Podcast Live the Battlefield.
Can I just have one more say?
Okay, let me just finish just to add on the invoice. Okay, please. Yes, continue.
I just want people to know, I've written a song called I Am What I Eat. And if you think about that, it's not just what goes in your mouth and into your digestive system. It's what goes into your ears, what you read with your eyes, who you hang out with. You are what you eat. What you eat today walks and talks tomorrow.
You know what? I just need to say, we need to have another discussion because I have a good friend of mine. He's a very well known lecturer in Taoism. His name is Wako Tao in Melbourne. He lectured in a couple of universities, and he told me, Mario, we are what comes on our mouth and comes out our mouth. And I said, like, come on, Wako, stop do this. And I was like, oh, my mouth. Well, he was like doing this with the salad. Okay. You're right, Kristine. You're right. It's not just what we're putting in mouth, but what we're putting in our brain. And that's a sound.
And into your heart.
And your heart.
Yeah.
You're a good woman, Kristine. I'm very grateful that you are today my guest. It means a lot to me.
I appreciate you letting me share my story.
Now, this story is going to be seen and heard by many. And I promise you that it's going to touch many hearts because people need miracle workers like yourself. Guys, that was a Live the Battlefield. Today in studio, Kristine Best, the songwriter and the music touching your soul. So, guys, not what you put in your mouth only, but what you're listening and how it's touching your heart. Stay tuned. Coming next one.
Thank you very much.